Title: The Billionaire's Naughty Wife. Chapter 1: The Wedding Scandal. The Steele-Monroe wedding wasn't just an event, it was a spectacle. The Steele family estate, a sprawling mansion high above the Manhattan skyline, glittered with lights. Inside, the most powerful and glamorous people mingled under crystal chandeliers, sipping champagne that cost more than most people's rent. But the real reason they came? It wasn't to celebrate love. No, they were here for the scandal. Alexander Steele, the billionaire mogul known for his control, power, and perfect image, had chosen the most unlikely bride, Olivia Monroe. She wasn't just different. She was the opposite of everything he stood for. She was wild, outspoken, and unpredictable. And tonight, everyone in the room wondered the same thing. Why her? As the grand doors opened, the room fell silent. There she was, Olivia Monroe. Her gown wasn't just stunning, it was unforgettable. A sleek ivory dress that shimmered under the lights, hugging her curves like a second skin. Her hair was swept up, showing off her graceful neck, and her red lips curled into a smile that said, "I know exactly what you're thinking." She didn't walk down the aisle. No, Olivia glided, her head held high, her eyes scanning the room as if daring anyone to speak. And the whispers began, "Can you believe she's marrying him? I heard she threw wine at a gallery owner in Paris. Didn't she date that rock star who smashed his guitar on live TV?" Olivia didn't care about their opinions. She'd spent her life ignoring judgment, living on her own terms. But Alexander Steele wasn't like the others. He wasn't just a man, he was a legend. Known for building empires and destroying rivals, Alexander had the power to change lives with a single word. And tonight, he stood at the altar, waiting for her. His dark, piercing eyes never left her as she approached. His expression was calm, unreadable, but there was something in his gaze, a flicker of amusement, or maybe challenge. When Olivia reached him, she gave him a sly smile, as if to say, "Are you sure you can handle me?" The officiant began the ceremony, and the crowd watched with bated breath. Every moment felt perfect, at least on the surface, but just as the vows were exchanged and the room was basking in the beauty of the moment, it happened. The music abruptly shifts to a more tense tone. A man with a camera suddenly broke through the crowd. A paparazzo, bold and desperate, aimed his lens at Olivia. "Mrs. Steele, care to comment on your wild reputation?" The room froze. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The whispers stopped. All eyes were on Olivia. Her face stayed perfectly calm, her red lips curving into a smile that was both playful and dangerous. And then she laughed. It wasn't a small laugh either. It was bold and carefree, echoing through the room like a challenge. "Wild? Oh, sweetheart, you haven't seen anything yet." The guests were stunned. Cameras flashed. Alexander's jaw tightened. His perfect day, his flawless image. It was slipping through his fingers. But Olivia? She didn't flinch. She raised a glass of champagne, her eyes sparkling with mischief, and toasted the crowd. Then she turned to Alexander, her smile widening. "Ready for forever, darling." Alexander didn't say a word. He simply took her hand, his grip firm but unreadable. The ceremony continued, but the energy in the room had shifted. The guests didn't know whether to be shocked, amused, or terrified. Because one thing was clear, Olivia Monroe wasn't here to play by anyone's rules, not even Alexander Steele's. And so, the wedding of the year ended with more questions than answers. Why had Alexander Steele, a man who lived by control, chosen someone so unpredictable? And Olivia Monroe, was she here to change her ways? Or would she turn Alexander's perfect world upside down? One thing was certain, their marriage wasn't going to be ordinary. It was going to be a storm. And this was only the beginning.